Welcome back, everyone, to Triangle Strategy.
That was close. To think they tried to collapse the tunnel with themselves still inside.
We finally got past that mine fight. Oh, so many bombs to defuse.
Why would the Esfrosti blow themselves up to destroy the place they were charged to defend? It makes no strategic sense.
Nothing Esfrost does make sense. But if they were this desperate, there must be something in there they do not want us finding.
The salt.
We must see what lies at the end of this tunnel.
Now let us press on.
Oh, are we going to get kicked out? Nope. Okay. Finally, the depths. Ah, finally. Oh,
These pink rocks aren't iron.
pink rock salt. Like our own Himalayan? No, that's... Now, oh, I once again can't say anything as to if all rock salt is left over from dried ocean water, or if there are other posited origins.
It's salt. Or rather,
Because, I mean, salt is a crystalline structure. There's a lot of crystals that just kind of form in the earth for various reasons. Usually pressure and other materials.
salt crystal.
Salt crystal, there it is, the crystal of the game, the Square Enix crystal, JRPG Final Fantasy Salt Rock.
Crystallized salt, untapped beneath the earth.
I wonder how deep it usually is. Ah, man, I should look it up one of these days.
The Rosellan legend my mother recorded is true.
There you go.
The grand Norzelian mines must have been built upon a vein of crystals.
Wait, did Aesfrost pick the place? Because if so, Dragan was spot on.
This explains how Esfrost was able to cut ties with Hyzant.
It's really sad that Aesfrost just... They had to do it all underhandedly instead of being like, boom. Ah, congrats! We all have salt. Screw you, Hyzant!
As long as they could excavate their own, they didn't need to rely on the salt from the Holy State. They could fight without it.
How do you think Gustadolf discovered this?
Dragan? I honestly think it's Dragan. He was the one very scholarly, very ambitious. He must have been poking about that library, although he couldn't have opened the book.
Lord Dragan was in charge of the mines until he was assassinated in that sudden Esfrosti raid, which Gustadolf used as a pretense to invade Glenbrook, after which he claimed control of the mines. That tells me Lord Dragan was likely the first to discover the salt crystals.
Yeah. And then, instead of, being like, they're here, I'll keep it secret, come real quick, boss. He's like, make me Prime Minister, or I'm gonna tell Glenbrook. You know, it's you want to have a stronger arm in dealing, but we've seen Gustadolf doesn't like that. He'll just kill you.
However, a struggle ensued between him and Gustadolf over their ownership.
So Gustadolf had him killed in order the invasion of Glenbrook. In order to seize control of the mines and secure the salt crystals for himself.
Now, while this is definitely like the kickoff, it makes total sense. Get an independent salt source apart from Hyzant, especially in Aesfrost. I do think Gustadolf took control of Glenbrook because the opportunity presented itself. Like, not only was there salt, which is so valuable to everybody in this world, but he had such detailed plans and the opportunity to just go in, kill all the male royals of Glenbrook, marry the princess, and if he had successfully done all that, who could stop him? Like, he could argue legitimacy He'd probably get his way. Hyzant wasn't going to leave their walls.
That scheming bastard!
Looks like we made the right call, taking back the mines.
What? What was the other call? Just ignore them?
They already took loads of soul crystals to the duchy, but even that ain't gonna last them forever.
I kind of wish you saw some broken stalagmites of the salt crystals where it's obvious, you know, they'd been harvested. But I can understand why they're like, no, I'm just gonna make one set piece, only one.
Indeed. If we can hold the mines, Esros will have no choice but to surrender.
Roland, do you really think Gustav's gonna surrender? I think he'd go out in a blaze of glory first.
And what if they discover another vein of salt crystals elsewhere?
I mean, everyone should. More salt. Screw you, Hyzant.
A real possibility, if the Rosellan legend is to be believed. But the Grand Norzelian mines only succeeded because all three powers worked together.
But what did Hyzant offer? Money? Glenbrook had the land on which it was built. The waterways to carry it?
If this is the kind of terrain salt crystals are found in, Esfrost cannot dig a new mine all on their own that easily.
Oh, maybe she's saying the Esfrost land probably won't have these deposits.
Meaning they are at their most vulnerable now, without a source of salt to call their own.
Oh my gosh, they'd be so desperate.
This does not concern only Esfrost. The existence of salt crystals will undermine the very foundation upon which Hyzant is built.
At least their economy. Possibly most other venues because they've been this way for so long. Would sure be a kick in the pants to not be a monopoly anymore.
If people knew that, then the two pillars of Hyzantian power, the source and the might of their goddess, would crumble.
Okay, so obviously they link the salt goddess to the salt trade, which makes the money. They use that money to provide for the general populace within Hyzant with like free medicinal care and other things. The trade-off is that not the church, the ministers, it seems like, are the ones who decide, you know, where someone goes. They don't really explain it, but I would assume some kind of school that ends with a test. They look at the result and they're like, yeah, you're going into the Ministry of Medicine or whatever. Although that, I kind of made that up wholesale. I did not glean that from the lore. I still need to read all those lore tidbits we bought. Sorry, I'm on a tangent because she said the might of their goddess. I'm trying to figure out if more salt in the world would truly make the Hyzantian salt religion crumble or not. They're the only ones with the obviously visible salt. Honestly, mining sucks. Like, the entire process, it's dangerous. There could be a carbon monoxide deposit that you just walk into and die. Like, it's compared to just raking salt lake bed, it sucks more. The only reason Hyzant's salt mining really sucks is because they're going about it like a bunch of psychopaths. Instead of just having normal workers paid a wage and doing normal work. Okay. Gotta save those Roselle. I wish the game would let me.
And it would prove the Rosellan legend is true.
Does anyone else know about that legend at this point?
If we reveal the truth, they would be forced to free the Roselle they've imprisoned.
They might refuse, mostly because that dang old man's there. Dang.
We hold the very future of Norzelia in our hands.
In our grimy mitts. Future.
Whatever we decide to do, we cannot decide it lightly.
I'm gonna say no to your idea, Benedict. Your ideas of late have been terrible.
Indeed. For now, let us return to the Crown City. Hewitt, send word to the capital. I want Kingdom soldiers posted around this entire area. Tell them to allow no one anywhere near the mines.
Wait, we gotta make sure Royalist soldiers aren't the ones who come here. Gosh, they all suck.
It shall be done, sire.
Do we even have that many soldiers? I guess this is worth guarding, even if we don't. Oh, hey! What are you doing here?
This must be what the old man was hoping to find.
He wants to find it? Hello? Oh no! Oh no! 1 second, 1 second. Sorry guys, I'm having technical difficulties. Okay, 1 sec, 1 sec, 1 sec. I can fix it. Maybe. Yes, 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 yes.
This must be what the old man was hoping to find.
And then it must fade out into his frost. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed whatever that cutscene was.
So, our army failed to secure the Grand Norzelian mines.
And when he says secure, he means collapse the tunnels. Hopefully not collapse the salt crystal cavern, because that would be dumb.
It would seem House Wolfort interfered.
Nah, 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 nah.
Glenbrook forces already surround the area, so retaking the mines is likely out of the question.
Oh, do they not have enough forces now? Ha! It's your turn to enjoy that. Stadolf.
They must have discovered the salt crystals. Damn them.
Nah, 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 nah.
Gather our soldiers, and be quick about it.
Uh-oh. He only says, all right, it's speed time. We're
Your
gonna
Grace.
do very fast counter invasion.
I see
hey.
you finally decided to answer my summons, Svarog.
Svarg! I'll meet you in another playthrough, I promise.
I shan't use laboring in secret to complete the death knell as an excuse. Punish me as you see fit.
Wait, laboring in secret?
If you think you can, that is.
I ought to wipe that impertinent smile off your face.
Oh, have we looked at Svarg's? Okay, just as a refresher. There's him. Got that fabulous boa on his cape. And then...
I saw what they brought in from the Grand Norzelian mines.
Svarg! Alright, Minister of Aesfrost. Svarg Aesfrost. Younger brother to the previous Archduke, and uncle to Gustadolf and Frederica. He was given stewardship of the distant Twins Gate, away from the Aesfrosti seat of government. So, either his brother or his nephew Gustadolf said, away, away. Go away. Had him, and because I remember Thalis and Erica were talking about him, and they're like, ha ha, he's in the sticks, so far away. So, it was definitely on purpose. And then his son, who wasn't the biggest looker, but he had such personality and brilliance. Too bad he overestimated his bargaining safety.
Huh. So you know of the salt crystals?
Salt.
Enough secrets, Gustadolf. Tell me what you are planning.
To use those salt crystals to put the final nail in Hyzan's coffin.
Coffin, huh? Honestly, out of all the nations at the moment, Hyzan could probably maintain their status quo for a bit. Like, their economy's gonna take a huge hit with everything that's happened. But they haven't had the horrible damage everybody else has so far.
To free the people of Norzelia from their tyranny by ending their monopoly over salt.
Look, we can do that too as Glenbrook. We could say, hey, I've got salt. Do you want to lower your fees a bit? We'll still keep trade going, but, you know, stop having it be so dang expensive and get new work policies. Speaking of those work policies, oh, I mean, Sarah Noah is the Minister of Salt. Shouldn't I be able to restructure it? I'm sure the rest would be like, oh, this is against the will of the goddess, but whatever. I'm the Minister of Salt.
By which you mean the strong will be free to trample the weak. Is that it?
I mean, the way that Gustadolf and his siblings, and honestly, even Avlora, the way they talked about Cordelia, who was a war captive under their power, and they're like, if you weren't weak, you wouldn't be here. It's just like, you guys are insane. Do you not understand what you have even done in this situation?
I will not argue semantics.
You would have been stronger if you had known handshakes worked for backstabbing, you know, for pulling someone into backstab range, says the person who is not socially functional.
Though it is at least far more human to struggle for one's own survival, rather than capitulate to the whims of some goddess.
Gustadolf, why are you going on this rant? Honestly, the way he's phrasing things... No, it's not even like humanism. It's not quite the same. I have to admit, I always find it weird in JRPGs how it's probably the secularism of the current modern age going into the devs' thinking of, you know, how just the world works, their own worldview. But the nations that are just completely absent of any kind of form of religion, and they don't seem to have a history of one, like they haven't turned away from an older religion, whether it would be animism or shamanism or polytheism, monotheism, none of it. They just act like it's always been people number one. I don't know, it's a very modernist kind of thinking, or at least, you know, you gotta go through the steps, because there was not even humanism. The 1700s, 1600s had the Enlightenment. I mean, there was a lot of steps, and even in places such as that were far removed, such as like ancient China, where you could argue Confucianism, you know, that's a much more secular kind of thing, but it's couched with the ancestor recognition and worship, with Taoism and some Buddhism, not as popular, but you know, it's there. The Buddhist monastery there was very powerful in terms of, because of the Shaolin monks' capability as the emperor found them a threat. Sorry, another tangent.
People have the right to discover their own strength and wield it to claim what is rightfully theirs.
Rightfully there? Oh, like you did? Mr. had a really good plan, but is so emotionally stunted you couldn't even, like, manipulate to pull it off in the end? Because you were just like, thing checked. I'm not going to seduce this poor girl who literally can't get away from me. I'm just going to wander over here.
Just as you are contesting me at this very moment, Uncle.
And yeah, what if he had made Dragan Prime Minister, who's way more powerful than, like, Thalos, way more capable, and that he could have got his uncle on his side? Honestly, they probably would have made a much better support network than his closer blood siblings, but I'm sure he saw his blood siblings as pawns who would not question him, so that's why he went with them.
How long have you known of the salt crystal's existence?
I learned of the possibility long ago, when I read of them in an old text from the archives.
That one book? But you couldn't... in it?
Ancient knowledge should never be discarded. As you well know, since you had Dragan study there to perfect his explosives.
He had to study to even know how to mix the explosives, I thought.
You are the one who had him killed.
Hey, he figured it out all by himself. Sparks. Ooh.
Spare me your unfounded speculation.
Gustadolf, that's the truth. Are you so wrapped up in your lie that you're like, what is the truth? Who even knows?
Unfounded, you say?
Ooh, he's mad.
Dragan oversaw the mine. It only stands to reason that he would have discovered the salt crystals first. So you, in your greed, had him killed, so that you might claim his discovery for your own. Not only that, but you used his murder as a pretext to invade Glenbrook. Am I wrong?
Wow, he is mad. Awesome.
Huh. You have an admirable imagination. Admirable, but mistaken.
Dang, he just lies and lies and lies.
Your son was quite the ambitious man, you know.
Oh, okay. Is he gonna say because he challenged me, I killed him?
What do you mean?
You know very well what I mean. Indeed, Dragan did discover the salt crystals.
Finally, he admits it.
Who else do you think told me of their existence? Yet he refused to hand them over unless I made him Prime Minister of Esfrost. And your son's scheming didn't end there. At the same time, he had initiated negotiations with Glenbrook.
I thought he was just threatening to do that. Although I guess taking the steps to make sure that can happen, yeah, that's a smart thing to do.
He offered them salt crystals in exchange for a noble title. He sought to fatherland and foe for all he could get.
Gustadolf's trying to say he was two-timing him. But I thought it was an either-or situation.
Lies! All of it! How dare you dishonor my son's name!
I thought if anyone understood the extent of Dragan's ambition, it would be you.
I thought Dragan was going to go Glenbrook, but only if Gustadolf would refuse him. That's what I figured. And then Gustadolf's answer was a arrow to the back. And we just stood there and said, oh, sorry, Sheila went to the post office to buy stamps. She's in line with Goku.
Uncle, now is not the time for family squabbles.
Strangle him right here, with your bare hands.
Glenbrook now knows of the salt crystals. It is but a matter of time until Hyzant learns of them as well.
They know. Gosh, I can't believe we let Milo just wander around there. I suppose she probably snuck, but...
We must make ready to stand against them.
Smooth moves, Gustadolf. You really could have blown open the world by just introducing the fact there are salt crystals, but instead you had to do the war machine, and now you're gonna get invaded.
What would you have me do?
The death knell is taking far too long to build. See that it is finished with haste.
Wait, it's not even close to being finished? Why did he leave Glenbrook? If it was really close, I could see it. But if it's like, it's not done yet, boss, Did he go to try and finish it? It doesn't make much sense.
Do that, and I will name you my Prime Minister, so you may fulfill your dearly departed son's dream in his stead.
Says his murderer. The one who ordered his assassination.
Very well.
No, Sparg! End him! You could end the war right here!
There is no time to waste. War will be upon our doorstep before we know it.
Yep.
A war to end all wars. A war whose victor shall rule Norzelia in her glorious entirety.
Wait, what? But I'm gonna be the one bringing the army. And that's just Glenbrook. Hyzant's still around. So that's 2. I don't know what would happen with Aesfrost after they get kicked and stomped on a lot. Probably nothing good. Oh boy. Okay, well, see you guys next time.